for that match of the tournament. And I get the feeling he might have learned a little bit as well. I'd like to say the Danger Mouse, Liam White, has stuck around, joining me on commentary for this semi-final. Very, very good evening to you, Liam, and a very good evening as well to those of you joining us on Facebook as well. Free stream for you this Sunday evening. And what a match you've got to enjoy here. Winner of this goes into the final to face Tom Cousins. That's, well, we watched his game earlier, Liam, and that's, I think, the worst break that Scott Gillespie's hit all day. Still got a good split, but that was tracking towards the corner. He's got let off, and he gets first chance.
Yeah, he's generated some power there, and first glance I'll be looking at yellows. Take the long yellow into the bottom left first shot, and then the rest pretty much all connect up.
Yellow ball's in play.
So just pop this one into the right centre and just stun down and effectively give himself a choice of ideally the yellow to the bottom right, but just needs to land in the area.
Races to 10, remember, in the British Open. That's been a consistent all the way through, and these early frames have been pretty crucial today. Need a fast start. Scott Gillespie was quick out the blocks earlier on against Reece Townsend. So too was Ryan Pisani against Chris Day. It was only in the latter stages that that match got a little bit bogged down.
Yeah, I think the yellow goes to the top left, so he's just got to sort of run through slightly, not too far. It's perfect, and the only thing that can go wrong here is if he was to sort of nudge the cue ball into the red, which he should just, he's not going to hit it anyway.
I say that, I think he did have a little bit of a feather. Okay though, it's come up nicely.
And it's just what you want in a semi-final, just to get yourself settled in and back into game mode as a nice break clearance and just send a message to your opponent.
Great finish from Scott Gillespie. And there is the Ryan Pisani break in full flow. That's pretty good.
As we look at this, he'll be looking to take yellows, I think. Just play a little soft cannon onto the yellow, onto the rail.
Yellow ball's in play.
He's just come off slightly, so it's stopping him from being able to screw out, so he's going to have to sort of swing the cue ball round a little bit. Yellow off the red, but he's just got to be careful where he sends this red because it's going into the yellow. And that's the problem.
Yeah, this is all of a sudden tricky.
Extension call.
Play a little soft screw into the red of the. It's a nice shot and essentially just stun the cue ball in. It's like he's got a little bit of angle by the looks of that overhead jaw switch, which he didn't want because he's probably got to stun into the yellow.
Yeah, he doesn't want to stun it too hard. Yeah, that's okay. This is horrible though. I don't think he can give himself a nice 8-ball.
If it's as long as the yellow is not touching the rail, he'd be able to just pinch the pocket and just come down.
Oh yeah, he was okay. Yeah, he's nice there.
Yeah, it's a good reply to Scott to let him know that even though it's his first semi-final, he's not afraid.
Yeah, the early stages of these matches are so important. Crunch. Took him until I think his 7th or 8th break in the quarterfinal until he didn't make a ball. That was how well he was hitting them. If you are being hypercritical, and I'm going to be, he's not quite had the cue ball the same in the first 2 yet, but
No,
he's sort of 90% there.
Yeah, but he's getting the splits and
Yeah, that's all he really cares about.
yeah, 100%. Don't get me wrong, it's great to see the cue ball come back in a straight line and not be firing around the table, but as long as you get a ball and you get an easy split, you literally do not care. So, ideally he wanted to play up for pot the one into the right centre next, but he's not come high enough. So, with it being a new cloth, it does grip quicker. So it's like not a delayed reaction, so you may be able to get into the cue ball to sort of screw out. Just avoid the red that's in the middle. So as you see, the 8-ball doesn't go in either of the bottom corner pockets, so he's got to land to get on it to the middle at some point.
Yeah, he's okay here. Real hallmark of Goobs' game is those sort of mid-range shots. He's just so good at stunning them in. Really crisp potter of a ball. And I think he's okay here. Just needs to mind his work. If he'd have been a little bit close to the 8-ball, you'd say his work was just about done. But just needs to mind his cue ball here. I think he can hold this. He's fine. Perfect.
It's a great standard to open up with.
3 off the rip, off the break. Lovely stuff from Scott Gillespie. High standard.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can't wish for too much more than that. I mean, that is cruel. That is cruel.
You could wish for the cue ball to stay up.
I mean, you can't hit it better than that.
No, it's back in a straight line. It's just unfortunate to.
How's this gone in though? How on earth has that gone in?
It's not just that. Look at the finish that it's left as well.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is really brutal.
Extension call.
Scott Gillespie calls his extension. Just wants to figure out his pattern before he gets to work. He's going to go to work on yellows.
Yeah, I think the only thing that can go wrong here is if the 8-ball doesn't go in the left centre, and he's got to sort of develop it at some point. But if it does go, which I think it does, they're essentially just roll-ins.
Yeah, it looks like it goes, doesn't it? But even if it doesn't, I mean, you could play on it right centre as well, off the one over the bag on the left. There's options for him.
Yeah, so you'll see him here just roll this one in and then play the one on the left and come down. And then essentially it's just...
Yeah, if he gets rid of the one over the left centre pocket, then we know the 8-ball goes.
Yeah. Right, it's a long race, so Ryan's just got to stay positive and not get too downhearted with the bit of bad fortune that he's just had. The 8-ball goes.
Yeah, that's answered the question. Just lined it up to check. Double check, I should say. Definitely checked earlier. It's cool, it's calm, it's clinical from Scott Gillespie. Do think an advantage for Scott coming into this semi-final, this big game, is he has got plenty of big game experience out there in this arena. This very arena is where he won his Ultimate Pool title, the Masters, in 2022. A bit of a right to feel a bit aggrieved with that because of how good his last break was. That finish could have been his. Can't think like that. Oh, there's the cue ball. Justice.
Yeah.
Ryan Pisani will say justice. Fantastic break this from Scott. Ironically, this is the best one he's hit in the match. What were we saying earlier about how he won't really care?
That's it, yeah.
All you want is a decent split and a ball down.
I think it looked a bit tricky, but if Ryan wanted, he could play sort of, see the yellow at the middle of the table, he could play a 3-ball plant on the red and yellow over the middle as his first ball. So I think he's playing it now.
That's come out really nicely for him as well, because the yellow goes, and I think he might have to play it after his next ball here.
Yeah,
it's rid of the one at the top, and he's got a little gap just to float through, hasn't he?
That's it, yeah, and then the rest of them sort of, they do connect up, even though they're sort of clustered on the right-hand side, they do. Oh, when one's potted, it opens up the avenue for the other one and so on.
If the Reds weren't there, where they are in that sort of minefield across the centre of the table, you'd ideally like to use this yellow over the middle pocket to link to the one that's down the right rail, but you don't have that choice. I don't think he's going to have to go a different way.
Yeah, I think I'd play for the, it depends on the angle here, but you might have to play for the yellow that's furthest to the bottom of the table. This was the worry, that the way he goes into this yellow, it's sort of sending it to the rail. So he's either got to play it with a bit of pace to make sure it comes back off.
He's got to judge his cannon really well here.
And he's got a bit of security that he's guaranteed to be on the one at the bottom on the cannon.
He didn't like it. He was so concerned about that cannon. You often find that, don't you, when you're playing that kind of shot and your cannon is so in your eye line, how easy it is to take your eye off the pot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit different when your cannon's almost round a couple of cushions and it's not so immediately visible.
Yeah, you sort of just, your cue ball, you're just concentrating on making sure you're hitting the right area on the cannon, and then it's not good.
So Scott choosing to wait this time. It's not a bad idea considering where he left himself. He has the big advantage in this frame. Oh, is that a foul?
Foul.
Yep, there's your answer. You must hit a cushion after contact. And if that red doesn't go bottom left, Scott's got a bit of figuring out to do. I don't think he can put the cue ball anywhere on the table where he can pot that red at the bottom at the bottom of the table, surrounded by the yellows.
No,
and this is where he's just got to think here, because there's no benefit whatsoever to just continuing to snooker Ryan. He's got to find a way himself to try and develop the situation. That's not easy.
No, but there's not really anything where he can play the developing shot too easy either. So I think he's just going to play another snooker here. Bring the red out and play the snooker.
Ooh, I think that's all right, you know. Well, you saw it perfectly from that angle.
I don't think the red does pass, so Ryan just needs to make sure he gets a good hit, but try not to disturb the red, which he could well do coming at this direction.
Yeah, a bit of a result for Ryan Pisani that he's not moved anything.
Ball in hand. Time.
It does look like it squeezes in, doesn't it? It's tight.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. He might play into it here. This will tell us. Oh, he tries to play off the yellow and he's missed it.
Needs a bit of fortune.
How's your cue ball, Scott? How's your cue ball, pal? Oh, you lucky boy.
Yeah, this one could hurt Ryan.
Well, that's an unbelievable result, that, for Scott Gillespie. You can see Ryan
Yeah, nodding the head.
nodding and shaking. That's when you know you're really annoyed. Yeah, that's tough for the P.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, well played. Much harder for Scott to hide the cue ball now. He might have to find a pot here, and that's not easy.
Yeah, this is... You may have to just try and... I don't even think a pot's on, so you might have to just try and double the red down the table. But he's got to be careful with the cue ball control. Great shot.
Yeah, he was aiming in behind that red, but that's a good enough result. He'll be pleased with it. Right, he's left there. He's found a really decent shot.
Just try to tie the red up.
Oh, as he left it as a loss of turn. Can Scott play it as a straight plant and get the cue ball back to where it was before?
I think that's too risky, just for the fact that if you don't get the cue ball hidden, you're leaving the finish, whereas while the red's tied... Yes, the red's tied up, but so's the yellow. So
Yellow's got a way to break it out, though.
yeah, if Scott just might try and send one of the reds into the mixer, so to speak, down here.
He's going.
He'll have an opportunity to sort of leave himself an angle to pot the ball in the middle and develop the red. So after this shot, he'll look to play it now. The only risk is he's not guaranteed to be on another ball after this shot.
Yeah, it's so on an island, this red. Just going to look at the cut to the left middle. He's probably has to play it with a decent amount of pace, not too much though. It'll throw the cue ball. Played it well. Is he on a ball? Is he on a ball? He's got a shot. It's a horrible one. The one to the top right is the only thing he can see. Rather you than me.
Yeah, he might.
He's probably due that, to be fair. He had a couple of unbelievable
He's going
dodges
for the
in this
double,
frame.
I think. Big shot.
Oh, it was.
Oh.
Cocked hat. Oh, nearly.
This is big now for Ryan Pisani to get himself back in the match. Nice shot.
He's ripping that break.
Yeah, just a problem that's appeared at the top end of the table. He's just going to have to work out, if he's choosing to attack, how he goes about developing that.
Balls in play.
He's just got to pop this into the top left and leave himself an angle on the yellow closest to the 8 ball. That's it.
And his big shot is at the top of the table, and it's a little feature of Ryan's that I did notice. He doesn't always attack his bad ball early, and it can cost you. Doesn't always, but it can.
Yeah.
And the longer he goes through this visit without getting into that yellow and red, the more problematic it's going to be.
I think the hardest thing on it is how you go into the cannon. I can't see how he's going to go into it and be on a ball, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree. Missed the cannon. Well, we are in trouble now, aren't we, Ryan?
So maybe time to pull back, unless he can generate a lot of cue power. Pot this side rail and go down, but it's got to be some shot.
Yeah, I just don't think that was on. Cue ball still spinning.
And Scott's effectively, I think he's just going to take his time here, and I think personally I would just play the red down to the corner pocket and just leave it there and look for use that as my next shot. So I wouldn't be attacking here.
So an argument maybe to just bump the red that he's closest to, just a little bit closer to the top right corner pocket, yeah?
Snooking him with the 8 ball on the top yellow, and then.
Yeah, same difference, very nice. Can Try and get this moving anywhere towards the pocket. It's a little bit of a hit, and Chris.
Take it though. Look how that red's gone.
Yeah, not ideal. It does go with short position. Knowing Scott, I think he's going to look to try and find a way to bump it out.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, but how big the pocket is. Can he play the red off the yellow to open up the bag?
No, it's on now if he wants it. Looks like he's snookering again. Yeah, don't mind it. He's got options now.
Yeah, but if Ryan was to foul here, does the red go into any pocket? Not quite sure.
If it doesn't, at least he's got some company at the end of the table to help him.
I think it does.
He actually wouldn't mind Ryan just hitting that out of the snooker. It's a great effort. You don't want him to pot it, mind. Oh. He's a little unlucky not to be on something. It's a fabulous shot from Ryan Pisani. Look at him outside he played that with to get that line.
Can he do the same here again? And not only that, he's got to pot it and land in the gap for the 8 ball. It's close.
Oh, it's not a bad effort.
No, and it keeps him in the frame. For sure. Just needed that to come out a little bit further, and he wanted to take these 2 reds out near the bottom, but I think essentially he is forced to go for this. So he may look to take this red into the top left, and then off his last red of the 2 in the right, come round 2 rails and track down the table. The other option is to just roll this one in, pop the red into the top left after this, and come down the right hand side of the table. Whatever suits him.
He's got his angle.
Yeah.
Got himself a nice line. It's all about pace control this. And that's pretty nice. He'll be pleased that he's on the lower one.
Yeah, he may
He'd have loved to have been off the cushion.
Off the cushion and maybe a little bit more angling, maybe okay. Looks like he's just got enough angle to just stun it off.
It's awkward. Just drops. How'd you like these?
Yeah, that was just because it just travelled that little bit too far.
Great shot. He's going to have to do another one. Never in doubt. His last 16 victory was solid. His big performance of the competition. He took out the steam train that had been Christy Caulfield's 10-8. Christy was looking a little bit invincible this weekend until he ran into the P. And then Chris Day fell by the wayside in the quarter-final. 8-7 win on the match clock.
And Scott's hit another big break there. It wasn't the best connection that he's had, but he got a ball. And he's got a go at these reds.
He's okay. He's okay. Would have loved just to plant right in the middle of the table because it gives him so many more options. But he's all right here. Key to the frame will be the red and the 8-ball sort of combination by the left centre pocket.
Yeah, I think it depends on if he can roll. If he's got enough to be able to roll the red into the middle as his second to last ball, and then take the other red down the rail. So here he may elect to just play this red off the red into the centre and just develop it in the same time. He only wants a small glance off it. He doesn't want to send it too far down the table, just a small glance so it sort of stays over the middle.
Yeah, fiddly little shot this. Been a time-out called by our official Rich Rhodes. I'm not too sure why. It was just an issue with the shot clock, so he's got back to business.
And he's played that perfectly.
Yeah, it's come out beautifully.
He's just got to make the decision. Does he want to play up for the red now, or use it as his last ball? He's electing to go up now. It needs to be high. Oof. So I think Scott's just going to draw this cue ball back slightly to roughly where it is now, and then take the red and into the bottom left and 8-ball top right.
Yeah, he's worked this out nicely. The downside when you're playing with check like that is it does just kill the cue ball a little bit. So he's a bit shorter on this 8-ball than he would have loved. He's still okay.
He likes to pot them with authority though, doesn't he? So this is the type of one where he'll be able to just cue it.
Never in doubt.
I mean, he's breaking well himself, Ryan, just not really getting the splits. Cue ball.
Yeah, on that occasion, that one you can attribute to the cue of Ryan Pisani. Just flirted with this corner pocket enough, he knew straight away. He knew straight away. And what a split he's left. What a split he's left here, Liam.
I think if it was later on in the match, my record could be at danger. So Scott just wants to make sure he's got gives himself the best angle. There you go, he's seen the plant and it just takes away all the problems.
I was going to say, I was just wondering if he
needs to pot it.
Yeah, he got there. Because that was the only problem ball, really. Everything else is wide open. I think if you had cue ball in hand anywhere on the table, you'd have taken that maybe, you know, top right, but had to go down the table. Done it well.
Just pulled up in time. to avoid the yellow. So, the only issue that Scott potentially has is the positional play from the red over the pocket to the red that's closest to the 8 ball. Whilst it looks simple, he's just got to take care.
Yeah, it's more minding your work rather than guaranteed to have a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's just drawn it back enough so he can just play it and then take the red into the right centre. Would have liked to have been a little bit closer.
Scott Gillespie is on the march.
Right.
And Scott won it 10-9, which was astonishing. Into the last 16 he went, and that was his best performance of the tournament at that point so far. A 10-4 win over Jack Whelan. And then today he's been rock solid. 10-6 win over Reece Townsend. Into the semi-final he goes, and he looks like he belongs, and he looks razor sharp.
That's another humongous break.
Massive.
And first shot he can play the 3 ball plant, red onto yellow onto red, and then they just all connect.
Extension call.
He's lining it up now, you can see. He's just wanting to judge where the other red's going to go. He can't really miss it, it's just about judging the first red. And doesn't want the others to block the red. That is perfect. If you're a Scott Gillespie fan right now, you are absolutely buzzing with that.
Yeah, he's just going to play this, leave himself a nice angle, come down the left-hand side of the table to be on the one for the middle. And we may as well chalk up 7-2 now.
I think he's straight enough so he doesn't have to worry about this yellow.
Yeah, he'll just miss it.
Yeah, there we go. He's all good. Been a relentless performances from Scott Gillespie. You don't really feel like Ryan's done much wrong, and yet he's about to be 7-2 down.
Yeah, Ron, the way he's breaking and sort of taking out the finishes is, if he does end up winning this match and getting to the final, he's...
Well, you could argue he starts favourite. Doesn't tend to try and do too much, just it's built on relentless finishing, solid potting.
And
Oh, Ryan, how do you like these? You see, this is where you can get in your own head a little bit, because look at the quality of that break from Ryan Pisani. He has hit that perfectly. Loads of balls heading to the top half of the table. Great, you think. Going to be a great split. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, and sometimes when it's not going for you, you tend to... Your first instinct... It's a great shot, but your first instinct is to always look for the problem. And like there, he's played a cannon and another red's tied up. I just get the impression he's sort of chasing a little bit. So this is a big shot. He needs to hit the yellow, ideally. Pot the red and top into the yellow.
Oh, he was aiming for the yellow and he's missed it. As he had a result, and it's tough to say.
Looks like a man who feels it's just not going his way.
He's not the only one who feels like that, I don't think. I don't feel like it's going his way. I'm feeling for him, because it's a tough place to be out there, isn't it? You really feel he's not done a huge amount wrong, but it's got to the point where he's starting to just push the boat out to find a way back into the match. Scott is happy to sort of dangle the carrot. It's not a perfect safety from Scott Gillespie. It's not a bad one.
Yeah, I think Scott's just sort of using his experience now. He almost wants to sort of force Ryan into chasing for something.
I wondered if he'd go. He may still elect not to.
I think he can go. You know, he's got a choice. He can. See, I would probably take the one down the rail now. If you get it, then you've got the perfect angle on the yellow over the pocket to deal out the other one. So he's going to play safe and try and get ball in hand.
I don't know if he's after ball in hand. I think he's after Ryan trying to break out his yellow for him. I don't think he minds Ryan going here. It's a bit of percentage play. Scott's thinking, I'm 7-2 up. You crack on, pal. If you get them, fair enough. Although Ryan has just made yellows a little bit more horrible. Is there a loss of turn up the table, I wonder?
If the red wasn't over the pocket, then possibly, but because he's got the red to develop the bad one at
Can't hide the cue ball, can he? Yeah, if he's on the right side of the table, he might be able to hide the cue ball, but Scott just trying to make it messy up there. I actually think reds are in a pretty good spot. But again, I don't think Ryan, Scott will be upset to see Ryan pushing the boat out at all. He'd definitely rather be reds though. 100%. That yellow at the bottom of the table is a nightmare for Scott.
Yeah, it's a clever shot there from Ryan. It's sort of developed his bad red, and
can he tuck Ryan up here behind the 8 ball and maybe look to try and get below or above one of his yellows to maybe play down the table for the loss of turn? He looked at the plant.
So
he's going to try and play into it now,
he's going into it now, yeah. Now he could do this two ways. He could play into the rail, so then he hits the red over the pocket to go into it, or just completely just play it at pace and go straight into the yellow and the red.
Oh, way too much into it. Way too much into it.
So
just shows how much grip you can get on this table if you need it.
yeah, I think Scott may look to. He's playing the full length of the table double as a loss of turn, maybe.
Well, that's the shot now, isn't it? Has to be. Oh, I don't love that. I'm with you. I think the full length of the table double. Get that, and all of a sudden you've got a real foothold in the frame.
Well, if Ryan pots this red to the middle, he's just going to play the loss of turn on.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Plays the plant instead. The only thing you would say is if that red doesn't go bottom right, he's in a bit of trouble. But I suppose he's reliant on the fact that Scott's probably going to move that for him.
Yeah, the good shot Ryan's played there. He's just made sure that the red stays over the pocket. Has just nudged the red over in front of the 8-ball so the 8-ball doesn't go, just in case Scott managed to like double this yellow in. He's made sure that the red's in front of the 8.
Has he had a result? Oh, you better believe it.
It is and it isn't. It's yeah, I think we know where he's going next.
Well, it's a slight boost for Scott Gillespie because, well, he's more likely to pot this than he was the last time he was at the table.
Yeah, he just needs to make, because he brought the yellow out, because I'm guessing that the 2 reds at the bottom don't go, so he just needs to make sure it doesn't disturb him.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh,
Oh, what a shot, Scott Gillespie. What a shot, and is that the dagger?
You can almost see it happening, can't you?
And there goes the 8-ball.
Leading 8 frames to 2.
Crunching break, makes a ball, makes several balls.
It just doesn't look like failing, does it, at any time?
Yeah, it's been brutal. Been brutal and brilliant.
Extension called.
So he's gonna elect to go reds and just not quite sure if he needs to develop the one that's closest to the yellow or if he can pot it clean. If he can pot it clean, then that's ball in hand perfect to just run through. If he can't pot it clean, he plays the top one and goes off the top rail, side rail, into the red.
Just like that, brilliantly played from Scott Gillespie. He's really cooking at the moment. Let's take a look at how he won the last frame because that shot was pretty special. Absolutely unbelievable, completely as played. Should be a semi-final winner.
I don't recall Scott making a single mistake, to be honest.
No, there's not been many anyway. And a couple of times I think he tried to play a red off the yellow earlier on in the match, but you're talking real small, minor errors. Really nitpicking. Generally speaking, he's been brilliant.
He's perfect. Controlled that brilliant. 8 ball to take a 9-2 lead. Go on the hill.
Scott Gillespie climbs the hill.
Trailing 9 frames to 2.
Well, Scott Gillespie knows that it's very possible to come back from 9-2 down. So I don't think he, of all people, will be resting on his laurels. Ryan Pisani takes a look at the table, smiles and nods. He's thinking, where have you been? Fancy getting this layout at 9-2 down.
Yeah, and I think the other reason why he's looking at it, he wants to be on reds, and can he pot one? Apart from the one down the rail.
Oh, that'd be unbelievable if not.
I think that was why we had the sarcastic grin. He may be able to pot this one into the top left, but it's not a gimme.
Shot. Oh, and he's scratched. Oh, you just got to feel for the Maltese. Not to beat.
Such a cruel game.
Oh, it's brutal. It's a brutal game. And the thing is, as well, is he gets nothing for potting the red apart from making Scott's life easier. This is about as simple a run out as you could have to win a semi-final.
Balls in play.
You have to say, though, for as you know, as much as you have to feel for Ryan, Scott Gillespie has taken this game away from him. He's been brilliant. And it is the Scotsman who flies into the British Open final. What a performance from Scott Goobsy Gillespie.